1% actions. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Freedom Lifestyle Program podcast, even. Today, I'm super excited to be here with you guys. We are speaking about something very important, very special, very exciting, all about becoming your best self inside and outside of business. So if that sounds like a bit of you, keep watching. But before we get into that, hit the intro.
Yo, we're back! Yay! Thank you so much, Josie. I'm so excited for today's episode. But I'm gonna basically ask you a question because today we have really been so excited, so ready for this episode. The 1%. I want to ask you, what does that mean for the listeners, for the people that are wanting to become part of that 1%? What do you think? What does it mean to you?
To me, yeah, I feel like it means something so different to everyone, right? It's kind of like the freedom lifestyle. Everyone thinks of something different, but for me, I think it means doing the things that most people, 99% of people, aren't willing to do, and actually first knowing what those things are, but also there's a difference between knowing what you need to do to become part of the 1% and actually doing them. And that's why I'm super excited to speak about this and speak about doing things fast and all of that jazz, is actually being willing to do what most people won't do or don't want to do, to be able to have a life that most people won't ever have because they're not doing the doings, right? So I think that's what it means for me. And I feel like I got most of that from you as well. But what does it mean for you?
Oh, that's you. No, I fully agree with you as well. Like we all have different goals and dreams. And when I listen to like the 1%, I always feels to me like that's the people that have a dream and make it happen. So that could be a variety of different goals. Could be financial goal, could be the fitness goal, love goal, or better yet, all of the above in one to be able to live the good life. And what I always think is quite interesting is that if you were to go on the street and ask any given person if they would want to live a good life or if they would want to make a million or do anything similar to that, so if they would like to have their goals achieved, everyone will say yes, or at least most people will. And they would be absolutely wanting to make something happen. But then what I like very much about this topic is that you have to do the work. And if you want to become part of that 1%, that is living the good life, having the financial freedom, having the physical health, having the beautiful family and relationship goals achieved, and being a contributing member of society, like all of these things, if you want it, then you have to show up that way. And I think there's distinct things that you can do, which I'm so excited about today. We're going to speak about where everybody watching this episode will have a slap in the face moment where you can look yourself in the eye and see, hey, actually, am I doing that? Am I showing up in a way that I'm supposed to show up to be able to live that life? And so before we go any deeper, because I am very excited about it, and hey, Jenny, so lovely having you here. Thank you for joining us. Also, let me know in the chat box, what is the 1% for you? What kind of life or results are you looking to achieve? Same holds for everybody watching this. What is the life that you would like to achieve for yourself? But then coming back to the specialness of today's episode of the Freedom Lifestyle podcast with the wonderful Josie, is that we don't just want this episode to be a wake-up call for people to realize whether or not they're actually doing what it is required to be done to be able to reach their results, but we actually want to help you and mentor you and give you the tools to support the accountability that is required for you to actually go out there and make it happen. So for anybody watching this live or on replay, there is a link for you to be able to register for nothing other than the Project 1 Million in 1 year. For those of you that know the channel, you've probably been watching this before, you've seen the link before, but it's a very, very different thing unless you're actually part of it. Because in this event, we're going to take you through every single step that allows you to identify what is the goal for you, how to actually go about getting that goal achieved. And then we're going to hold you accountable, support you, and give you practical steps so that after the 6 days of free mentorship from Project 1 Million in 1 year, you're going to walk away with a roadmap and with the energy and conviction to actually walk it. So that's for you guys. Comment below if you're gonna be part of it, if you have secured your space already. But otherwise, go to, oh, actually, I've written the link wrong. My apologies. It is not, I put the right link in the comment, but it is 1 million in 1 year.com /Josie. Here we go. Let me save it. So that's the progress over perfection moment because it's Josie. This
Yeah.
happened. Let's go. Josie. And also, when you do so, you're going to actually have Josie looking after you, which is a must, which is super awesome. Well, all the team members are awesome, but here you get Josie. So, all right. So, Josie, what is one of the things in your life, and especially your entrepreneurial life, in the things that you have been able to do to get results, but also in the conversations that you have had with so many top producers, like who on your beautiful interview with Stephen Ridley the other day. For those of you who haven't watched that one yet, go back, see the other episode, and check Josie's 3 hour incredible, deep, beautiful, go through all the motions interview with the wonderful Stephen Ridley. Like, in your conversations and in your own experience, what do you see as the first factor that you would like to highlight of stuff, for lack of better words, for stuff that successful people do and not successful people don't do? Can you give the first thing that comes to mind?
First thing that comes to my mind, yeah, is first knowing your goal and knowing what you even want to happen. I think from speaking to so many people, like you said, is that everyone has a really clear goal. If you just want to, you're like, hey, I want to live a freedom lifestyle, cool. What does that mean? What does it mean? It means something so different for everyone. And that's actually something that I spoke to Stephen about too, is it's so different. And everyone, and actually I spoke to Misty about this recently too. Everyone, when you when you think of someone who's living the life you want to live, every single person is going to think of someone different. Maybe some people have the same person, but every single person has someone different. But what the common thing is that every one of them had that goal to be there, whether they're an actor, whether they're a businessman, whether they're, I don't know, a pilot, I don't know, on a plane. They had the goal to be there. So I think, yeah, exactly. I was like, wait, what else do people do? So much, I can think. Every single person had a clear goal and a specific goal. And then they did what it took to get there. They laid out the steps. And actually, that came to mind, and something that came to mind very quickly as well when you asked that question is the word unreasonable, and being so.
Make that comment in the chat box. Clear goal, unreasonable. Yeah.
Be unreasonable with that goal and you do whatever good it takes to get there. And this is a huge shout out to Tjibaria for that quote. This is a huge realization I've had time and time again, but so much recently. We had a little discussion about like in a team meeting recently about actually doing the work and showing up, and maybe that means showing up on weekends, and if you can, and just being unreasonable in that way. And Seb Williams talks about this a lot. Sometimes in your business or in life, you're required to sprint a little bit. You're required to go full out and go for a sprint and really take a lot of action. It doesn't have to be forever, but just being so unreasonable and taking action quick, because you're not going to get anywhere by doing the same things you're doing right now.
Yeah.
What's that quote that you like? The definition of insanity
Yeah.
is,
The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome. And then
yeah,
the version that I like of that is if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep on getting what you've always gotten. So, yeah,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
very true. I want to say one thing, and this is completely like weird. So I love how unreasonable you are in the sense that you have one red nail and all the other ones are not painted. Can I just see that? How awesome is that? Can we just compliment Josie on her just like
Uh,
she's unapologetic. Like I have one red nail, guys. I don't care about the rest of them.
there's quite a
I'm
funny
like,
story around that, actually.
it's so cool. I have those things all the time. Like I haven't painted my nails in a long time,
Yeah,
but
I just couldn't
that's
be bothered.
me as well. But actually, it's not really a weird point after all because it shows that you don't really mind what other people are thinking,
Yeah.
and that is part of unreasonability too, because so many people and that I guess I want to bring to the forefront as the next point, but it's actually tied to Josie's unreasonableness, is to not give too much um, value to other people's opinions on you. And there is this very nice quote, don't know by who, so let me know in the chat box if you do know who this is by, which is other people's opinion of you are none of your business.
Mm,
So what other people think is it doesn't matter. And it actually plays a role on a lot of different levels because I very much remember in well at least my 9.5 years in business that on the one hand there was this feeling, especially in the beginning, where I just came out of academia and from the university, the people that are scientists and stuff like that, and then going into business, and I was wondering like what will they say, and what if they are like, oh, who do you think you know business, and who do you think you are, to talk about these things, and I thought that nobody ever said anything, by the way. Well, one person said it to me in my face, but other than that, nobody else said anything. So it was just in my head. And when I started to not, be held back by that, and I started to actually post and things like that, I was just like, oh wow, I thought that maybe people would comment or message me and say, hey, who do you think you are? But actually, it was just in my head. So that's one part that sometimes I see a lot of people, whether that's people that come to our events or students, that then say like, I want to reach that goal of building $1 million company, but I don't dare to make my content because what will people think? What will friends think? What will family think? What will others think? So that's one part. But I guess there's another part as well about what other people think is also, I think, our nature sometimes to be creatures that like to be in herds. That sounds really
mm,
weird. Like
mm,
we're group animals, right? And so what I have very much noticed, and I want to see as well what you think about this, Josie. I've had it a lot that as I went and took more action in my business, I started to see so many opportunities and lots of them, like abundance. Then I was doing this, and then people said, oh, you should do network marketing as well. And then others said, you should do real estate as well. Oh, and then there was people that say, oh, you should this and you should do that, and you should go into the metaverse, and all those opportunities everywhere. And oh, thank you, Jenny found it out. She says it's Robin Sharma who said that. Yay, hoo ha hoo, you're gonna get a
done.
present, which is a virtual hug. Yay. Thank you, Jenny. But yeah, there were so many opportunities, and I remember that at times, sometimes I also felt like, oh, should I go for it? And there were times that I did, and it distracted me actually
Mm,
from what you said is point number one, the clear goal to have, and it took me a little bit of readjusting to get back on track. Whereas other times I was just like, well, no, I'm going to pass on that one because it's not bringing me closer to the goal that I actually have, which again extra solidifies the importance of being clear or getting clear at least. You don't have to be fully clear because there's always things that you don't fully
mm.
know, but some clarity would be helpful. And then not to be distracted by all of the other opinions or all of the other things that are not necessarily going to bring you closer to it. Have you had that too, like in the last couple of years, that there's like all these other things that you could do?
Yeah. No, definitely. And just quickly on your first point as well about actually two quick points on your points too is yeah, you were so right. You don't have to be clear, like really clear about
Yeah.
everything. You just have to take
Yeah.
step one. And it will get more clear, definitely. And also I also used to think a lot of things before I started posting or putting what I'm doing out there. Like people are going to think
Yeah.
this, people are going to think that. And like you said, most of the time it's not even
Mhm.
true. People aren't even thinking about you. They don't care
They're
that much in a
they're
good
running their
way.
own lives. They're busy with it.
Yeah, they're busy. They're not thinking about
Yeah.
you. But also, some of my friends and family did say to me what I thought people would be
Ah,
thinking or saying. They did say, but what I realized, stuff just, you know, things that all entrepreneurs face probably, like it's choose a safer path or all this
mhm.
stuff. But what I realized is that actually it wasn't that bad. They said the things that I thought maybe people might be thinking or saying to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's not bad," because I knew I was confident about my
That's
decision
really
and
strong.
everything. So as long as you know, yeah, as long as you're confident and you know that you're doing the best thing for
Mhm.
you, who cares? Who cares what people
Mhm.
think? Um, and so, yeah, that's a point too. To your
Yeah.
question, though, yes, definitely. I think when did then start putting myself out there, and the first thing that came to mind when you asked me that is the sales rallies and like role playing on
Yeah.
them, and then just people coming to me like, "Hey, you should sell this, you should
Mhm.
do this as well, like on top of
Yeah.
all of this, you should do this, like this is."
Oh, and
And
the
I had a
amount of
couple of
people that
things like
came also, I think also to me said like, okay, so Josie's with you, right? Yeah. Can we hire her as well? No. Like, those conversations is like, Josie's too busy with whatever awesome stuff we do and running her own business and with her mom's business and all of that sort of stuff. So no, go away. Sorry for being
yeah,
so
exactly,
candid
quite
here,
right.
but that was really such a testament to you because everybody was just like, "Oh, Josie, who's Josie?" And I was speaking to my mom about this just 2 days ago. But sorry, I was completely um, taking over your point because I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember." But carry on, carry on.
Yeah, no, we had talks about that, I remember, and it's just yeah, it's staying on track and staying on one. You can do one thing really well, really good, or you can do a couple things
Yeah,
mediocrely. Your choice. I know what I would want to do, but yeah, so not getting distracted by all
this
these
is actually
things
really,
because
really
that
good.
that is
I
true,
want to say
right?
something about it because I know I've discussed this with you and I've discussed this with the team, but I don't think I've ever said it in public, um, to this degree at least. I remember like sometimes people think that the only way to get rich or like really wealthy is by having your own business, but that's actually not true. And just to throw a stat out there, 80% of millionaires are not having their own business, they're part of another person's business. But I remember that we had that conversation where also back in the day when I started, I started working for a company that in the beginning part was not my company, and I wasn't the main face of the business and anything like that. And I was so in love with what we did and how we were helping people, and I knew the impact that we were making. And I was so dedicated, and I treated that business as if it was my own, even though it wasn't, until later it did become it. And then later, things evolved in a particular way, which then brought us to later building this company, Freedom Lifestyle Creators. But I remember back then is that I was fully devoted to that. And that was just like, even though it wasn't mine, it felt like it was. And I gave my all. And that's what created like the results and everything that happened from that. And I feel that sometimes that's also very important to say because yes, I very much believe that having your own business is a unique opportunity because a lot of people, they are in jobs and in positions that don't stimulate growth, and people work really hard and are not getting the recognition, they're not getting the financial rewards, and things are not necessarily, it's not like when you put more in, more is going to come out. It's just like, this is your salary, that's it. And if you're in such an environment, it can be sometimes very, very detrimental for a lot of, mental health situations, relationships, but especially also to the finances, because people are not going to get rich there ever, or financially free. If you think about it, if you just look, okay, what was the five past years or the 10 past years track record, it's probably not going to change that much if you see that there's an unwillingness to change. So in that situation, it's like, start your own thing, if you would want that, because it's easier than people think that it is. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be. So I was in a place and in a position when I got started 9 years ago, that was like, it was applauding growth, and there's no weird things. If you come with ideas, and that can grow, and it grows the income, it grows the visibility, it grows everything. And I think that is a thing for important for people to remember, that if you are in a growth appreciative and stimulated environment, then that is super, super, super powerful. You can create $1 million empire as such as well. It's not just only when you have your own business. And again, the stats don't lie when they say that 80% of millionaires are not having their own business, but they're part of a business. But what I'm trying to say with this is that what is important, I think, for people to realize is that in that you do know that there is a growth path, and there's clarity to say, okay, this is how I'm going to go and advance. And that, and this is the key factor, that was a key factor for me too, is that I knew that if I put more of my effort in, I get more rewards out. So the sky is the limit, or sky is not the limit. I don't know what it actually means, sky is the limit, but there's no limits basically. If I work harder,
Yeah.
I'm going to make more money, I'm going to impact more people. So everything is directly correlated with the amount of effort that I put out, as also is the case with business. So I just felt inspired to say that based off of what you just shared. And because maybe, someone listening to this is not necessarily wanting to create their own business, but they do want to become millionaires. Also for you guys, click on the link, be part of Project 1 Million in 1 year, because everything that we're going to be sharing with you is basically to put you in a position to be increasing your value and allowing that value increase and the output increase to create a consistent flow inwards as well, which might be a little bit off topic. But anyways, I just felt inspired to say that to you as you were talking about all that you were talking about, which is just so important.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Because I've had that question from people too, like, well, if you know so much about sales and business now, why don't you do your own thing? And it's, well, one, I'm much more an entrepreneur than an entrepreneur, I think. And that's like not a bad thing. There's not me saying I don't think I'm good at but I work much better in a team than I would like doing my own thing. Number two, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I love
Oh, and
it. And
I
then
love
this is
you.
like, it's it's like I'm not going. Like that is never something that's ever crossed my mind. Even when I first joined FLC as a student, it was to help my mum in her business. It was never like. So yeah, I think like you said, it's so okay to maybe you don't want to do your own thing. You want to do something together. Absolutely, and I think that's as well. If that is you, join Project 1 Million because you are going to learn skills, and not only just practical skills, which you're going to learn, but also the mindset of business and how to be so valuable to yourself, but also to someone that like growth is the only option. So
you are so
like,
amazing. I just want to say that we might go now totally off of our usual jazz when it comes to running the podcast, but I'm just wanting to say and deeply express how much I love you and how proud I am of you as well, and how much I appreciate you, because it's really I really count my as Seth always says, my lucky stars to be surrounded by you and all of the other beautiful members of the team, and that we get to do this together. Because also for myself, it's like we're a family and we're doing this together. And like I know personally as well, like how hard I work, and when I do the work that I'm doing, it's always like you guys on my mind and on my heart, and knowing that we're doing this. And like a lot of people looking at us and then seeing what we do from the outside can maybe see all of the good stuff, but we've obviously been through ups and downs, and we've had our fair share of challenges. and we also know our potential, so we know where we're going and we know we're on track of going to that place. So every single time that I do my stuff, I always really feel like, yeah, I know what I'm doing this for, I know the people that I'm doing this for. And my declaration to my family, to my FLC core family, to the FLC family, is that we're going there, and we're going there together no matter what. We're making this happen as a family. And that same feeling was there even in the previous company, that in the start was not my company. I wasn't the owner and I wasn't the face of the company, but the same feeling was there. And I think that's what I find so special about the words that you just spoke, because I felt exactly the same way. And for me, I also think from a, I guess, yeah, perspective of, yeah, what is it, like sometimes ego or not ego or things like that. It's like, for me, it wouldn't matter which of the situations. Like, also from the previous company, I would have never left as well, but because of the circumstances, how there was just like a different flow, and where, there was two different beautiful creations that happened, that just happened to go in a slightly different direction, which is totally fine and it's totally beautiful. But I just wanted to express how much I resonate with what you just said, is because for me, all that matters in the end is that we're helping people, we're doing something with which we're growing, all of our family members are good, and we're good people. Because at the end of the day, we're not bringing our ego, we're not bringing our accolades, we're not bringing, oh, this is the this face of the brand, this is that face of the brand. No, we're all faces of the brand. And I think also only now I'm starting to realize some of that, which also Master Krishna always used to say, and still to this day says, where he says, like, I don't have to be the face of the brand, I don't have to be that person. It's like, it's an us thing. And yeah, sorry, I'm just having a lot of personal revelations from all the beautiful things that you're saying, that I think hopefully will be valuable for everybody watching. um, but yeah, I really, really, really appreciate you and all that you do. And for me as well, like the stuff that we are doing together and the stuff that we get to do together and continue to get to do together, like September. Some of you don't know, but September, something's about to go down. It's just really, really beautiful. And yeah, I think with that feeling, that's a 1% feeling to get back to the topic safely.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. It's starting to be becoming more like a Josie and Tjibaria conversation, which is also fine, I think. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Back backing
Mhm.
back Taking a
Yes.
step back, basically, to the point. What really, I think sometimes bothers me, and it shouldn't, especially after the high energy masterclass. But I think, no, I know to a big degree it bothers me, is when I see really, really incredible people. Hey, Mien. Wow, we love you. We love you too, sister. Really, really beautiful people that absolutely want something, but then they do stand in their own way, unfortunately, which is a product of, the life path that has happened up to that point, and ups and downs and insecurities and confidence, but also to a big degree responsibility. And I think that's the point that I want to get across here, and why I love this title so much, which, by the way, actually, I saw from another video. I can't remember who, so credit to another lady entrepreneur, but I kind of forgot who it was. I think I know who she is. I know her face, but I can't remember her name. But she's a LinkedIn entrepreneur, and she helps people with LinkedIn and stuff. But she said in her video, and that's why we have this title here, if you truly want to be part of the 1%, you got to take 1% actions. And it's not a 1% action if you're going to hide behind your excuses. It's not a 1% action if you're going to finger point and say, hey, because of you, or because of you, or because of that, it's not working. It's not a 1% action if you start to criticize the whole world around you, but not take ownership of the stuff that you do or do not do. It's not a 1% action
Mm.
if you say, oh, I don't feel motivated right now, or that I'm losing the motivation, because motivation is not going to be there all the time. Most of the time, it isn't. And then it's just like your discipline or your devotion towards your goals that keeps you going. And I think that's a part that I hope the people watching this video today will realize, is that you do have that in control. And I think why it bothers me sometimes is because if you do realize that and you just click, then life becomes easy and enjoyable. And the things start becoming better, and you'll start seeing little changes in your life, and you start seeing the effects of your hard work. But until that moment happens, you're going to be running in circles and a repetition of the same kind of circumstances all the time. And 10 years from now, you're still going to be stuck. And it's still going to be like, yeah, I want to do this, but this failed, that failed, that failed, which is, by the way, not failure, it's just learnings. So, really taking that ownership is what I hope people will take away from this. How would you speak to that? Because I know you train so many of our clients and you help so many of them break through this. Like, how do you do that? How do you take them through that journey where then they start to realize, hey, wait a second, yes, I can do this too, and let's go take some ownership. What is your process in that?
Yeah, I love that topic so much. And something else I spoke with Stephen Ridley
Yeah.
about too is like you said, self-ownership, self-responsibility. And that can seem a bit scary because it's like, okay, everything's my fault. I wouldn't say fault, I'd say responsibility. But that's the only way you can change
Yeah.
things. If everything is someone else's fault, parents, teacher, this per job, whatever, then how do you expect to change it? Because it's in there, the ball is in
Yeah.
their court, so to say, like the expression goes. So by taking that, yeah, it might be scary because suddenly everything is your
Yeah.
fault, responsibility, but that's the only way that you can change it, right? And you can listen to, and this is what I tell students all the time, is you can listen to all the podcasts. You can go through, like with our students, they get our mentorship, they get like one-to-one attention. You can come to all the live calls, you can go through all of the course, you can talk to us as many times as you like, which we
Yeah.
love. But if you don't action
Yeah.
it, nothing's going to happen. If you don't do the things, so many times I sit on calls with you and students, and I see you giving all this advice and actions, and then a lot of students are very good, they do it, but some students maybe they are a little bit slow with the actions, and then we say to them, well, that's why, like, do
Yeah.
the actions. So that's what I would say to anyone as well. You can listen, you can do all the podcasts, you can do all the self development, but if you don't take responsibility for it and
Yeah.
action it, it's not going to do anything for you. And that's why I'm also really excited for everyone coming to Project 1
Yes.
Million, is because you're going to be in a room with action takers and people that are
Oh,
doing it. And
yes.
by
You have to
as a
say one thing for
result,
a moment. I'm
you're
just
going to be
pausing
that
myself.
person.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
it.
But also,
No, no, no.
also
Say
this
it.
time around, we have a lot of our amazing hardcore students coming. So you want to be around them. You want to be around that energy. It's just it's so crazy powerful. So yeah, I really really recommend it. And also because one thing that some people that are not in our circle, in our circle, the people that are not in part of FLC yet, they might think, okay, yeah, I really want to take action, but what do I do? Well, if you don't know what to do, then exactly this is the event for you, where we are going to give you the step by step of exactly what to do. So you wouldn't have that question anymore. Like Josie said before, you're going to develop a clear goal. We're starting off with that straight away on the first session. And then you're going to develop that. You're going to create like an emotional and spiritual connection to that future. You're going to give it meaning so that you know when you wake up in the morning why you're doing it. And when you face a challenge, you know why you're going to push through, because you know what you're doing it for. In the same way that I know that whenever I go through all my tough stuff, it is because of our family, our amazing family. When I say family, I mean blood family, I mean FLC core family, I mean FLC family. That's the tribe that we're fighting for every day, day in, day out. And it's not always easy. I've said this many times before on different occasions, that sometimes I cry myself to sleep, which is not a nice thing, but it happens. There's ups and downs. in any path of life, but also in this path of life, but it is worthwhile. And then besides that, you're going to then actually learn, like, how do you develop the skills? How do you get out there? How do you communicate with people? And I think most of all, how do you get to be purposeful to others? Because you'll find, if you, and again, I forgot who the quote is by, maybe we can ask for our Jenny support superstar. um, if you want to achieve your goal, the quote goes, help other people achieve their goal, and in doing so you'll achieve yours. It's something like that. It's not exactly like that, but some people say, if you want to attract something for yourself, then you help other people attract, whatever it is what they want, and then in doing so you're going to get to what you want. So if you want to become a millionaire, go help other people solve their problems, and by solving their problems you're going to make your money, which is a really, again, awesome thing. But then you'll learn how to do that. And I think that is also a part which I definitely see, at least for a huge part of the 1%, those people that get success after success and they keep growing and achieving things, is that for the most part in that group, they are very, very capable of making an impact. And it is either an impact through effective communication and thereby being able to allow good negotiation to happen that will allow them to get into a win-win-win situation with the stuff that they do. But for the most part, for the good part, because there's also a little bit negative part also within the 1%, but for the good part, it actually helps people and it moves forward. Things move forward. Solutions are being found. Amazing products and services come to the forefront of the world because it solves people's problems. And that, I think, is I think the final very important point for people to write down if you're making notes from this, that solving problems is the key. And then also what I find, and this is my question for Josie, what I find a lot is that if I am in a predicament or there's something on my shoulders, I find the most peace by helping another person. How have you experienced that? Because I know you have been working super duper hardcore and you have been so surface full and purposeful towards more people than I can mention. And definitely had your fair shares of character building moments. So in that journey, from your experience, like what is this thing, like when like what I say, when I help another person, it just allows me to forget and heal certain parts of myself as well. But how do you experience that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, and I think as well, what it gives me is confidence. And hey, Jenny,
I was just
thank
noticing it.
you.
Thank you, Jenny.
Our resident quote
Yeah.
finder.
And super
Like, oh, there we
student.
go. Yes, yes, and the other one, Zig
Yeah,
Ziglar. Oh, yes, he
that's the one
does,
that I
isn't
that
it?
I that I
Yeah,
remember and forget. But the Les Brown one, I didn't know. That's cool. So similar. Yeah, nice. Back to you,
yay.
Josie.
Thank you, Jenny. It built my confidence as well
Yes.
in what we do, and I mean, I'm always confident in what we do, but in
Yeah.
myself, like I am able to help people, and that confidence helps me in helping more people because when I'm feeling in my head about it and sort of what am I doing here, this kind of imposter
Hmm.
syndrome, when I help someone and give someone advice and they come back to me and say that was really helpful or I needed to hear that, it's like, huh, maybe I do know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, and that confidence helps you help more people,
Yeah.
right? So it's just this constant thing like that, and also just thinking about the future too, putting yourself in the future and thinking that future self who you
Yeah.
want to be, what are they doing?
Yeah.
How are they acting? And are they going to be happy that about taking this action? And what would they want you to do right now?
That's a good one.
That as well.
Also a good one to
So
keep you out of trouble.
yeah, yeah,
Would my future self appreciate this action? If no, don't do it. Actually, just to say
Yeah,
this is also very good with when it comes to nutrition. Whenever you see that yummy, yummy cake, and it's like, will my future self be happy if I completely consume this one or not?
exactly. Exactly. The future self can be like in 5 hours.
Yeah,
That can be your future self
exactly.
too. Like it doesn't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. And I actually had a question for
Ooh.
you as
Oh, can I say
well.
one
I
more thing
think,
before we go to the question?
yeah,
Actually, guys,
yeah, yeah.
your future self will thank you for clicking on the link, joining Project 1 Million, starting it and finishing it, because you won't be the same person by the end of it, which is the 20th of July. So, how awesome would it be? You'll be completely different, transformed, next level version of yourself by the 20th of July. I think that's pretty awesome. So, do it for
I think
yourself,
so
do it for
too.
your future self, do it for your family, do it for all the people that you get to bless. Back to you.
Mhm. And we can say that with confidence because we've seen it done so many times. We've
Times.
done this so many times. We've seen so many people
Hundreds of
have a
thousands
dramatic
in
change,
like
right?
since my beginning, since my beginning of
Right.
running.
Since I was yeah, exactly. So that's not just something nice
Yeah,
we're saying, it's actually what we've seen,
yeah.
right? And I also think if anyone completely new to us is watching this, what's important to mention is it is Tjibaria who is hosting the event.
Well,
So
with
you're
Josie
already
and with the
familiar
amazing team.
and with the team,
Yeah, thank
yes.
you.
So yes, that's good to say. But
Thank
I
you.
had a question for you, and I asked this to Stephen Redley too, and this is something I think I want to ask lots of people who have gone through this path. Is people might be watching this and thinking either it's a new goal or it's something they've wanted to do for a while. Like, yes, I want to do my own thing. I want to be part of the 1%. I want to be the person that takes the action, but I just don't think I can, or I don't think I'm ready, or I don't think that's me naturally. Like, good for them, good for you guys that are doing it, but I don't think that I can do it. What would you say to people that have those limiting beliefs right
That you
now?
absolutely can do it, and you are limitless, and there's no limits to what you are capable of and how strong you are, both from a physical perspective, a mental perspective, and a spiritual perspective. Hey, Misty. Hey, Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, there are no limits. And it would be about time for you to support yourself in that, because we're so good as people oftentimes to support other people. We support our friends, we support our favorite football clubs, we support our artists that we enjoy the music of or the films of or whatever they do. But why not ourselves? Why are we not on our own team for once? So be on your own team and see what that will do, because as Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are right. So choose the one that you want to have. So say, I can, which makes me break out into song. Say, I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard in it, if I work hard in it, I'll be where I want to be. So yeah, that'll be my answer. You're limitless and there's nothing you cannot do in the name of good, obviously.
I like that. Yeah, I really like that.
And
And
how about you?
also, you
How
don't
about
need,
you?
yeah. Oh, good question. Oh, so no one's ever reversed
There we
Uno'd that
go.
question to me.
Your opinion matters.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
um, I
Let me
think
see.
no.
We'll get into that comment in a second.
Yes, yes. Um, I think what I would say is, well, what I thought when I was first starting to think about this path and wanting to be that person and everything is I I can't do it because I don't know what I'm doing. I had no idea how these people were living this life or doing or even making money online or helping people. I had no idea how people were doing that. And I think that's what kept me back from doing it for so long because I thought I didn't know what I was
Yeah.
doing. But the truth is that you don't need to know what you're doing. You need to just know what step one
Yeah.
is. And then by taking step one, you're going to know what
Yeah.
step two
Yeah.
is. And then doing that, you're going to know what step three is. So
That
just,
was what you guys discussed in the Stephen Ridley interview, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That was so
yeah,
strong. Yeah, it's really interesting because
yeah.
we kind of overcomplicate it, because right now we don't know step 29. but we're at
Yeah.
step one right now, so you just have to take the first
Yeah.
like stepping stone, and then
Yeah.
all the rest of the journey will be revealed to you. Just do the next right action. So true.
Mhm.
Um, a little intermezzo. I want everybody to please make sure to follow Misty, the amazing Misty Gonzalez. Mwah, we love you. And her brand new podcast is called Life's a Trip, and I Forgot the Map. Josie was on one of
I
the
love that.
episodes recently. I'm going to be on one as well. I'm so excited for it. We actually were going to record it earlier, but I was ill in that period. I was like, oh, the whole time ill. But now I'm back. So, Misty, we need to go and plan it. I'm very excited to be on your podcast as well. So, all right, make sure to follow Misty. All right. That being said, Josie, you are about to shift to another question before I reversed Uno'd the question. Was that it? Did you say?
Yeah, reverse Uno my question. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was the Misty. That was the question, and also like, how do I say? What I would say actually is step one, if you're thinking that right now, is come to the event. Come to the event. And actually, yeah, I want to ask you what actually, if anyone is completely new
Mhm.
to this, hasn't seen our faces before, which hi, I'm Josie, this is Tjibaria. um, what will people actually walk away with from Project 1 Million, and why should they even come?
I have prepared this one. Actually, normally I freeball it and I just share like from top of my head. But I actually wrote something down to answer this question because we communicate with all of our participants, and there was someone who registered for the event and then completely forgot what they registered for and was saying some of the stuff that they would like to get out of it. So I just want to read my answer because I thought it was very well written, if I say so myself. So here he goes. So over the course of 6 days, you will be completely mentored to understand between how successful people operate versus our usual past, not yet successful self. You will learn the arts of business, social media, effective communication, sales, scaling, automation, and that's just scratching the surface. This event is sometimes described by participants as a sort of rebirth because people finally put years of trying in perspective and understand what to do differently to actually get results. And plenty of people have gained results, closing deals, pitching for investments, starting their businesses, making scaling tweaks in their existing businesses, overcoming fear, etc., during the event itself. So, in a nutshell, you are not just going to learn how to make 1 million in 1 year, you are going to learn how to operate like a freedom lifestyle creator and have the roadmap to set up a business empire with multiple streams of income. Hope that answers the question.
Pretty good. I mean, if that doesn't sound like a bit of you, I don't know what you're still doing here. So click on the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of
Yeah.
that.
Hoo-ha-hoo. Well, on that note, then, I think this is the perfect time for us to conclude today's Freedom Lifestyle podcast episode. And I must say, just for everybody that are completely new, first and foremost, make sure to hit the like button if you like it. Obviously, if you don't like it, feel free not to like it. But I think if you're still here, you probably like it. Number two, subscribe. Number three, hit the bell. And number four, implement whatever you found valuable from today's episode. But also, just this thing that I wanted to say, just before this episode, oh my goodness, guys, I was so tired. So I must say, I'm a little bit, how do you say, giggly and a little bit like, I don't know, not too serious this episode. So I just want for everybody to realize that sometimes when I just, when we've had such productive days back in like in a row, back to back, and today as well has been one of those days, then I just get all the way whoop whoop, and I'm a little bit crazy. Josie knows this. Josie has witnessed me like that so often. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that just as a fun fact about why I'm a little bit like, a little bit out there. And Josie's obviously rescuing the honor of our podcast. So thank you for that, Josie.
I'm just so used to it now.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But hey, that is
It's
just
great.
part of what you're getting into once you join us in our freedom lifestyle movement, to which we very much welcome you. And also, just for everybody to know, this is the official day of the podcast. So every Monday, and then it will take place at 7 7:15 p.m. Dubai time. Today we were a little bit later because of my stuff, me being a little bit weird and giggly. But yeah, normally it will be at roughly 7 o'clock, 7:15, for us to start this podcast. So do write it down in your notebooks. If you're enjoying it, you're more than welcome to share the fun with us, be part of it, get inspired, hopefully learn a thing or two, and really also get to see like the stuff that we experience when we're helping thousands of people on a daily basis to create their freedom lifestyles, to break free from what has been holding themselves back for years, and to really make an impact in their own lives, in the lives of their families, their communities, and all the people that they get to be impactful to. So that's my final words for now. Passing the mic to Josie to finish it off.
Words of wisdom. Yeah, I want to ask a question to anyone watching. Is, like we mentioned earlier, are you going to let this be another podcast, or are you going to let this be the start of the rest of your life? And are you going to take that 1% action and sign up to Project 1 Million and join us? Because in all seriousness, it will change your life. If I say this every Project 1 Million, I say this to my family, the people I look after during the event, is if you let it, and if you put the work in and you show up, it will change your life. And I can say that with confidence because I've seen it done so many times. So are you going to let this just be another nice podcast that you listen to, or are you going to let this be the start of the rest?
This could be the start of something new. No, no, no.
Your choice.
Yeah.
That's it. Answer in the comments or answer yourself. But yeah, pick an option.
Pick an option. Very good. So I was just like, okay, now we're just gonna stare at everybody, even though we
Yeah,
don't see them.
until you guys leave.
All right, bye. Well, people do crazier things on video. People they like eat, and some people just sit and stare and smile. But I don't think that's our vibe, is it?
People do online these days. It's
Maybe we should make a podcast about that next week. We're just going to talk about random stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we could go for hours on that.
Random. By the way, if you have a topic that you would like us to cover, if you know us better, you might have seen a lot of our serious podcasts, but maybe you want to see something funky, out of this world. Like obviously within reason, we want to stay demure. And we don't want to go too crazy, just crazy enough. But if you have any podcast suggestions, do comment that below as well, and we'll be happy to see those options. Yes. All right, I think it's time to go.
And then we'll see you on Project 1 Million.
Yeah, see you on Project 1 Million. See you in 2 days. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you, Josie.